news in North Africa, where Western Sahara's pro-independence Polisario Front has attacked the Gujarat buffer zone under Moroccan control in the far south of the desert territory. The overnight attack has been described by Morocco as part of a propaganda war. In a statement on Sunday, the Sahrawi press agency said the army launched 4 rockets in the direction of Gujarat on the border between Morocco and Mauritania. The SPS statement also reported attacks along the security wall that separates Sahrawi fighters from Moroccan forces in the vast desert expanse. Joining us live to discuss this development in Western Sahara is Ovigwe Egwegu, a co-founder of Afripolitica, a geopolitics firm. He is also a contributor to Africa Report and Foreign Policy. Thanks for joining us, Ovigwe.
Thanks for having me.
Now, the Morocco-Polisario Front conflict has been frozen for 30 years. What might be responsible for this recent escalation of violence in Western Sahara?
Yeah, so with every conflict, there are root causes and proximate causes, right? Now, the root causes in this case has been the unresolved, the unresolved sovereign over that territory since the colonial era. When the Spanish left, recall for centuries, Morocco really controlled what we call today as Western Sahara.
Yes.
Up until 1884, when the Spanish invaded, and then of course, after the end of fall of colonialism, when Morocco gained independence, they tried to reclaim Western Sahara, but the indigenous Sahrawi population resisted that, wanting to be independent. But that wasn't really resolved, because what we saw with that independence struggle was the Polisario Front emerged to be the front to defend the Sahrawi people from Morocco and try to assert that they want autonomy and want self-determination. So that led to a war from the 70s up until the UN, broke out ceasefire in 1991. Now, since 1991 till date, the conflict has essentially been frozen. I would say no real peace agreement on, the politics on the ground. So what you really have is what we call a stalemate. So both sides separated by one of the longest minefields, in the world. And when you have recently with President Donald Trump, when he was in office, recognizing Morocco's sovereignty over Western Sahara. Of course, that gave Western Sahara impetus.
Yes. And that brings me to this question. Under former President Donald Trump, Washington last year broke decades of precedent by recognizing Morocco's full sovereignty over the territory in exchange for Rabat normalizing relations with Israel. What are the implications of this quid pro quo diplomacy for the people on the ground in Western Sahara and Morocco in general?
I mean, it essentially means war, because when you have a country as powerful as the United States giving you pretty much a green card or a go to actually claim a territory that is disputed, that the whole world is saying you just cannot claim sovereignty over. Of course, what you find is it gives Morocco impetus to really do what it wants and assert itself, in that space. And that is really dangerous, because the Sahel is already a very fragile place, and African governments have to be very, very proactive, because if we allow a full-blown escalation and full-blown war, we just might be regressing. We really will regressing, because whenever there is a new front or a new conflict in the Sahel, it tends to multiply other conflicts. You recall when Gaddafi was deposed by NATO, and the US and France, French forces, that led to weapons flowing down from Libya into the Sahel, and that landed in the hands of groups like Boko Haram, Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, and all of that.
Now, we saw a change of government in America from the Republican to Democrats. This deal, this recognition of Western Sahara and sovereignty by Morocco's sovereignty over Western Sahara was brokered by the Trump administration. We've seen a flurry of activities in the first 48 hours of the Biden presidency undoing a lot of things that, especially in the areas of diplomacy, that President Trump did, the JCPOA, Iran deal, and others. Has the issue of Western Sahara been brought up, and what's the Biden administration's position on this?
Well, there's not been any official information coming from the White House since President Biden took office. But what was announced today from the French side was there's going to be a conversation between the French President Emmanuel Macron and President Joe Biden on a range of issues, including the Sahel. So it's expected that this issue of Western Sahara will be brought up. And I would really like to see a scenario where the United States reverses that recognition and finds another way to compensate Morocco, or Morocco by itself reverses this decision, because it's never going to end well. A conflict that was fought for over 30 years, it will certainly be fought for a much longer period of time if the circumstances are not prevented.
Now, let's talk about mediation efforts. The United Nations recently issued a statement on both parties, to exercise caution, but they did not mention the 1991 ceasefire and efforts to even carry out this referendum that they agreed on. So my question to you, Ovigwe, is this. Are there currently any ongoing mediation efforts to de-escalate the situation between the Polisario Front and Rabat? And what's the... Morocco has been readmitted into the African Union. The African Union recognized the Western Saharan sovereignty and granted them membership of the AU. Has that position changed? And in what ways do you suggest both parties can reach a compromise and de-escalate the situation?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. Now, one of the things you're going to see that Algeria would definitely reach out to Morocco, even if not officially, at least what we call track 2 diplomacy, back channels, because Algeria is a staunch supporter of the Polisario Front and Western Sahara. There are millions of hundreds of thousands of Sahrawi refugees in Algeria. Now, Algeria would also bring up this issue in the African Union because it's seen as the real diplomatic backbone of Western Sahara. So the AU would definitely benefit from any more country championing it and trying to rally AU member states together, because as a continental body that has recognized Western Sahara, it has the responsibility to actually put the Western Sahara issue central in international discourse at the moment. Now, the issue of the United Nations brokered ceasefire that has been in place in 1991, that's very important as well. Even talk between Morocco, Algeria, the Western Sahara was going up until 2019. So yes, diplomacy and mediation, or back channel diplomacy rather, or track 2, is very, very crucial to resolving this current crisis, because we don't want to see a regression. The Sahel is already fragile, and any attempt to any new war or any resumption of hostilities is going to be very, very devastating for the region. And it's one of the things that Africa would remember Donald Trump for would be the insults he gave to us. But I will tell you, if this is not resolved, this will be actually more devastating than that is verbal abuse of Africa, because war comes with heavy costs, and I don't think the Sahel is ready for a war at this stage.
Another conflict opening up in any part of the continent. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Ovigwe. We do appreciate your insights and contributions. Thanks for talking to us on News Central now.